to me, when that song came together, it was like we're onto something really different here. Like we're really onto something special, and it's just we've never really done anything like this. And I remember we had a conversation. I was like, if we could build the record around this one song, like kind of branch out from here and see where it goes. Like I really think we're going to have something special on our hands. And so yeah, that song was I don't know, that to me was kind of ground zero right there for Of Kingdom and Crown. Yeah, I mean, we basically started writing the record right before the pandemic hit. We had been doing the Burn My Eyes 25th anniversary tour, which was amazing and wildly successful, and started writing riffs around then. And then the pandemic hit, and then we were all cooped up and locked up, and then we just continued writing. We just would email riffs around, and I'd write a riff and send it to Jared and be like, hey, finish this. Or I'd send it to Vogue and be like, hey, like, I don't know where to go from this riff right here, write something. And just started sending stuff kind of around like that. And then once things opened up, we were able to get together, and yeah, we just kept on, making it happen. So this is a concept album. The concept takes place in a futuristic landscape. The sky is always stained crimson red, and it revolves around two characters. Character number one is Eris, who loses the love of his life, Amethyst, and goes on a murderous rampage against the people who killed her. Character number two is Eros, and he loses his mother to a drug overdose, and in his kind of downward spiral, depression becomes radicalized by this charismatic leader and goes on his own killing spree, and is one of the people who killed Amethyst. And so the lyrics deal with how their lives intertwine, and the opening track, Slaughter the Martyr, is basically character number one's origin story. It's him, he's just lost the love of his life, he's in just a venomous, murderous rage, and that's how the story starts. I mean, I was a total anime nerd back in when I was a kid, like 15, 16. I was into like Akira and Space Cruise Yamato and Robotech and Macross. And I was way into it. I was going to the conferences and the conventions. And then for no reason I got out of it. I became more of a metal nerd at some point. And then, over the pandemic, my kids started watching just a ton of anime. And I would go in their room with them, like when they're watching it on their computers, and I was just like, dude, this is sick, because it's like modern now and it's super violent and brutal. And I was like, let's just go watch this on the big TV. I'm totally down to watch this. And so we started watching a bunch of series. But as I was writing the story for the album, when I originally started writing it, it was kind of like very American story arc, like good guy, good guy wins. And I wasn't connecting with it. Like I just wasn't getting anything out of it. And something about Attack on Titan, like part of the storyline that was going on in, as we got into like season 3, was that both sides, there was no good or bad guy. Both sides believed that they were doing good, but both sides were committing evil and atrocities. And that whole idea totally opened my mind up. Like, oh wow, like I can take my story in that direction too. And once that happened, it really opened up where the record went lyrically and kind of, mood wise. And so, yeah, it was a big inspiration. Awesome. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. It's brutal and sick and weird and cool. It just, something about it just kind of encapsulated this concept. It needed to have something, it was a very cinematic record. Very colossal in scope and musicality, and it just needed something that kind of summed up that. And to me, that collection of words really tied in. Yeah, I mean, it was Zach and I doing the production again, and then it was Colin Richardson and Chris Clancy mixing it, which added a whole other level of just ferocity to the whole thing. And so, I think with the approach with this one was it was a little more stripped down. The last few records that we've done from Locust on have been kind of a lot of classical bits, symphonic elements, and even keyboards here and there that kind of adding these like soundscapes and ambient stuff. And with this, I just really wanted to kind of strip it back and make it more just like guitars. Like if it was going to be a soundscapey type sound, it was just going to be a guitar making that sound. And it kind of limits you in a way, but I liked that. I liked that it was kind of forcing us. And every time, I did try experimented with a couple of buddies who I've worked with forever, and to try and bring in some of that, pianos or keys or strings or whatever. And it just made it. I don't know. I didn't like what it did to it. It just kind of softened it up in a way that I didn't dig. And so, yeah, we really a very, very guitar heavy, ferocious album. Seth Zero Anton did the artwork, and he's amazing, like super talented guy, like really funny and great to work with. I had reached out to it's funny because I had been into his band Septic Flesh for a while, but I didn't realize that he was the artist who did the artwork for his band. I just wasn't following it that closely, and we were working with a couple of different artists trying to pin it together, and it just wasn't coming together. I knew I wanted the Rams concept, but I just couldn't. I wasn't happy with the art we were going. So I reached out. My buddy sent me his Instagram page, and I was like, "This dude's sick." So I just reached out to him on Instagram DMs, and I DM'd him like, "Hey, dude, I'm not sure if you know who my band is, but I just want to say I'd love to work with you." And he wrote back like, "Dude, I fucking love your band," and so. We put it together, and he really got into it. It was definitely cool that he got away from kind of his normal style too. Like he normally has it a lot more busy, and with this, it was very much like very clean, very like stripped down. Like kind of just focusing on these two specific elements of the art with the ram skull guys, and yeah, I think he knocked it out of the park. I think it's maybe our best album cover, and it's an absolute masterpiece of art. That song was we had kind of started messing around with that on the last Catharsis tour. Jared and I actually went into a studio in North Carolina and just tracked that. And I was just like, like I got these riffs and I want to just lay them down. And, like it took a minute for the rest of the song to kind of come together. We started just jamming on other ideas. But to me, when that song came together, it was like, oh shit, like we're onto something really different here. Like we're really onto something special, and we've never really done anything like this. And I remember we had a conversation. I was like, if we could build the record around this one song, like kind of branch out from here and see where it goes, like I really think we're going to have something special on our hands. And so yeah, that song was I don't know, that to me was kind of ground zero right there for Of Kingdom and Crown. That was definitely later. That to me was just kind of my homage to Bay Area thrash. Like I just wanted to have like a full-on Bay Area thrash metal song. Like what would my whole mindset when I was writing it was like, what would Gary Holt do right now? What would Hetfield do right now in 1986? And I just kind of taken that, definitely sped it up some more, definitely brought it into like modern speed, because it might be the fastest Machine Head song that we've got, that and Become the Firestorm. So, and just taking that ferocity and that pissed off, feeling and just expanding on it. More than anything, it's like, this is set in the future. This isn't about now. This is something that, it's a story. And my biggest thing is that, I just want people to close their eyes and smoke some weed and drink some beer, or, get high on life, whatever you do, like even if you're sober, like, and just, imagine this movie in your mind's eye, because it's such a cinematic album. Like this could be a movie, like this could be a play, this could be a comic book series, this could be a anime series. I think that there's so many details and rich nuggets of visual lyricisms that I really think that it'll be a great escape for people. It'll be a great way to just kind of transport yourself to someplace else, and it's a lot of emotions, a lot of, it's all over the place, with anger and sadness and joy and yeah, I mean, just soak it all in, man. And yeah, I can't wait to play the new songs for people. I mean, we've been doing the electric happy hours now. We did 2.5 years of the pandemic. We did electric happy hours every Friday for 2.5 years, and it's like a live stream, but you feel connected to the fans, and we've maintained this amazing connection via that, even when we couldn't tour. And so, but after 2.5 years of it, yeah, I'm so ready to like get back out there and like play these songs to people. But we've already been playing them, and I know people just go crazy even on the happy hours. So I'm really just stoked to get back out there and just pummel the UK. It's gonna be fucking brutal. Love it.